anglers, welcome back. I'm here with my friend Pastor Odali today, and we're going to be talking about the Arapaima day trip. And Pastor, why don't you give us a quick 30-second overview of who you are and what you do?
I'm going to be glad to. My name is Odali, and everybody call me Pastor. I'm a pastor, and we own the Arapaima fishery spot that I hope you're going to be come and join us. And me and my wife and my family, we're going to do everything that we know and we can to make sure you have a wonderful day.
Perfect. Well, let's talk about your place a little bit. Let's talk about how large the property is, what size and species of fish you have that the anglers could expect to catch. I mean, the focus is definitely Arapaima, but what else do you have there?
Okay, we own our farm is 360 acres. It's not all water, but we do have 13 lakes. Half of it's pond and half of it's small lakes. And the main fish we have there is Arapaima, and we also have arowana, which is fly fish. Somebody call fly fish, somebody call arowana. We have wolf fish. We have tambaqui. We have pirapitinga. We have red tail, and some other species.
Very nice. So I mean, yeah, the focus is definitely the Arapaima, but occasionally you catch something else. Like last time I was there, I caught a nice tambaqui, which is really fun. So you go for the Arapaima, and then occasionally you get something else. So good. So you already answered our next question too, which was how many lakes and ponds do you have? So let's skip to the next thing. What types of lures and bait will the anglers use? I mean, what's effective there?
Yeah.
Let's go through that.
When you go fishing and you're thinking about lures, for some reason the Arapaima don't like too much of lures, but we let you try. And if you have a lure that looks like a fish, white, I recommend you to bring with you. We've seen some that really work, especially it's kind of rubber kind of lure. And we let you use that in the beginning. And sometimes you catch one or two with the lure. And if you do fly, it's the same thing. People always asking me what kind, and he opened the case and let me pick one, and it's something that looks like a fish. And that's what you're looking for when you're going to buy you lure for Arapaima, okay? And then I always tell them that I let you fish as with you all your knowledge on the beginning and half of the day until noon. And then after lunch, if you don't have a very successful day, I invite you to do an Indian way, which is use a fish as a bait and a big hook. And that's pretty much the most effective that we have.
Yeah, I mean, my experience fishing for the Arapaima is when I go to a new spot, I'll try either the lure. I've even used surface lures like a super spook or something with obviously different hooks on it, but use a hard bait or a fly, and I'll get a few hits. I'll get one or two hits, but then it's kind of like the Arapaima wise up a little bit, and I either need to move locations, either on the same pond, like walk to a different area, or we need to go to a new lake, or I need to just humble myself and use that bait, and catch one, because especially if you hook one, they make a lot of noise, they jump, and if you don't land it, it just kind of spooks the fish in the immediate area. So like you said, I kind of what I do is I always throw that lure or fly at first, try to pick one or two up. If I don't, then I'll switch to that bait. But even when I fish bait, I'll give it a few casts, and then it kind of seems like you need to maybe walk a little bit or just get in front of a different fish, because they do spook a little bit easy, and you kind of need to rest them and move around.
And that Arapaima, he don't chase his prey. He sneak, so when you use a bait, you need to let the bait. It's like fish for catfish. That's a good point. Yeah. You just wait, and he'll grab, and then once he grabs, he got it.
Yeah, that's pretty wild after that. Okay, so let's talk about the fishing gear. We talked about the lures. You had mentioned that you're not super in love with bait casting rods, so why don't you kind of explain why and
because the Arapaima, the first time, or Tambaqui, Tambaqui break more line than Arapaima. So if you don't not familiar with the Tambaqui, if you catch one, you're gonna find out what I'm talking about, and you're gonna love it because he's so strong. And then he pulled the line so tight, and it don't work too good, you know. And people that used to, and sometimes they start and then they give up on. But you use that. What you
Spinning
call it?
reel.
The spinning reel. That's the best
Large
one.
arbor spinning
Yeah,
reel.
and we provide for you. If you left hand or right hand, we take care of that before we go to the water.
Those large arbor spinning reels
Yeah.
seem to be the easiest thing.
Right.
Because you risk some kind of bird nest with the bait caster, and it just seems like it's easier with the spinning rods when you're fighting those really big fish.
And when we started this, we was using 40 and 60 pound test lines. Now we up to 100, and
We might have to even upgrade above that.
Exactly. we see people break line 8 times a day, and sometimes it's fish is too big, and sometimes it's a little bit of experience that they don't have. But
Yeah, and let's. Well, I have another question for that. Maybe we'll save that.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, making sure that drag is set correctly.
Exactly.
Because if you got it too tight and they shake their head once,
Right.
Ciao.
that's it.
Okay, so we'll come back to that, kind of talk about fighting and
Okay.
landing fish in a minute. But let's walk through a typical day. What happens from the time that you come to get us to the hotel to when you bring the anglers back.
Okay. We have set up at 8 o'clock here at the hotel, and when I was in the States, people always told me that Brazilians don't know how to keep time. And it's not always the case. I like to keep time, okay? So I will be here at 8 o'clock. But if you came in late, and if it's something, if you want to sleep in a little bit, that's okay. You just let me know through somebody, and then it's no problem. I can wait. But we're going to pick you up here at the hotel, and then we're going to go through town. The traffic's going to be busy, so we're going to go across the bridge, which I'm sure you're going to like. Get your camera ready. You're going to take a picture of the Black River, Rio Negro, and then when we go across, we go to a place, a fishing market, and this one we're going to buy you baits. We always buy the bait if you use or not, but the bait's going to be there for you. And you can go there and take a picture of fish. What it is people go fish during the night, and then in the morning they come to sell the fish, and you're going to see them. Sometimes they're clean, sometimes they're eaten, sometimes they're sell. So it's always a fun time. And then we go to our house. We get there, and my wife got you a cup of coffee or tea or fruit, and then we snack a little bit, get the gear ready, and then go to the lake, and we fish until noon, and then we come back and we eat lunch, and you always have a choice to pick what you want to eat, and we try to make sure that the food is one good thing.
Yeah, it is good.
And then we go back to fish, and I always ask people, do you want to take a nap? We got a hammock, nobody wants to take a nap, so we're going to go back fish. That's fine. So we're going to go fish, and we fish until 4 o'clock. And they always want to fish late, and I always let them. I don't know why.
Yeah, once you get out there and start catching, it's kind of hard to want to go home. So, but I mean, I love it. You're right there waiting at the door at the hotel. It's about a 50-minute, hour drive, depending on traffic, like you said. But going over the Rio Negro Bridge in itself is a really cool experience. I mean, that is a very large structure. I mean, it's really a engineering miracle, really. I mean, it's very cool. And driving across the Rio Negro and then getting on that other side, and your property is like being in the middle of the jungle. It's right outside of town, but you have so much acreage, and you get back there that we've seen monkeys and birds, and it's just a really fun place to be, so close to the city. So that's really cool. And sorry, I'm looking at my phone for questions, not texting. So That's great, and I'll also touch just that the food is great. You guys, make tambaki or like an asado, and I've always enjoyed the meals there. Every time I've gone out there, I really like it. Okay, let's go back to landing the Arapaima. Let's talk about that because we talked about how sometimes the fish get broken off, and let's talk about some tips. We first talked about making sure the drag is not too tight, right? What other tips would you have for landing really big fish?
Okay, before that, let me just clear something. People always worry about water, and we recommend people to drink a lot of water because it's hot.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Most of the time, it's a hot day. So we want that we provide all the water that you want, and all the drinks, and those that drink beer too. And but we provide everything. You don't have to worry about, do I going to have something to drink? Yes. You're not going to drink water out of the water faucet, even though we have a deeper well, but it's the bottled water, and we provide the full cold water for you. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And now let's go back to
the fighting and landing big fish. You got any tips on how to do
that? That's probably the most important thing, because you come fish and you have the excitement of bring in a big fish, and you want to take a picture. So let me give you a little idea. I know that when you hear, it's probably go a little bit different, but in general, it's like this. You're going to hook a big fish, and for me to explain, it's like if you're over on a sea fish, it's a big marlin, and you up and down, up and down. Yep. So don't try to just bring a bluegill out, because it's not going to work, and you're going to break your line. And so you have to work and kind of go around with the pole and use the pole against the fish and use his strongest against himself. So bring up and down. When you bring the fish close, me and some other person are going to be there, and if you want to take a picture, we ask you to get in the water. So I always tell people, I said, hey, you want to take a picture, you're going to get your underwear wet. Okay? So you get in the water, but please let we get in the water first and get the fish ready for you, because Arapaima is danger. I seen people get hurt, and I saw in the newspaper here in Manaus, people get killed because of Arapaima. It's not something that you cannot take a picture, no, but have to do properly. Okay? You have to do right. So stay away from the head is number one. Okay? Stay away from the head. Because the head, he's so strong and he can hit you, and sometimes the hook have the points taken out, and that can hurt you anywhere. And the tail, the tail is pretty strong too. So one of us stay on the head side and the tail side, and then we ask you to come around and stay in the middle. If you want to take a picture by yourself, that's okay too. Sometimes people want to put the rod in the mouth and take that nice picture, that's okay. But we make sure that you got the fish against you real strong, and then we back out a little bit, and you take your picture, and then you're going to release. Okay, when you're going to release, we are a catch and release operation. Okay, so we want to release the fish to survive, and then we're going to hold the fish. If you want to help us a little bit, we tell you what to do. And we wait until the point to release is when he burps. And then he's telling us that he's ready to go. And then we let it go. Okay? And then you're going to have nice pictures. You're going to be safety, which is one thing that we worry about, is your safety, and enjoy your trip.
Yeah, and I'm just going to add on to some of the things you said. So first, kind of going back to fighting the fish.
Yeah.
That it is a very large fish, and you can't just hold your rod straight up like this and reel like that. That's not going to work. Your line's going to break. When a Arapaima, for example, is going this way, you want to keep your rod lower, and you need to kind of pump, right? And I always say, if the fish is going this way, you want to have your rod at kind of a 45 this way, a little bit lower. And as you pull up, but as you come down, you have to reel at the same time, right? Because what happens if you pull and then you just go down? Well, now you've introduced slack, right? So it has to be this motion of pulling it slightly, reeling it down, pulling it slightly, reeling it down. And what you're trying to do is to get that Arapaima, if he's going this way and you're pulling this way, you're trying to get him to slowly turn his head and then come back the other way. And then when he does that, you need to slowly move your rod back this way. So if he's going this way, now you're putting pressure on him and applying him this way. It can't be quick though, right? I mean, that's how we snap lines, right? It's got kind of be, I mean, this fish could weigh more than you when you're reeling in. You have to remember that. So,
and another thing, Zach, that fish know every log that's under the water.
yeah.
And when he know that he's in trouble, he's go to the log. I mean, that's the first thing. So what you say, exactly what you need to do is kind of we pretty much tell them where the logs might be, and you work around, and sometimes you have to get in the water a little bit to get that right angle.
Well, one thing that I've done now after learning, after catching a few Arapaima, is before I make my first cast, I look and I think, okay, there's a log right there, there's a tree right there. So when I hook the Arapaima, I already know where I want to take it, right? Because if you wait for him to be from, here to the log 5 feet away, forget it, you've already lost.
Forget it, he goes around and he breaks.
He breaks. So you want to anticipate, okay, when I hook this thing, where is my best area to try to get the fish? Because you want to start doing that, from the time you hook it, right? Now, it can't be quick. You can't yank them in. You just want to slowly, gradually work them towards that area, right? So that's one thing. And then going back to, general safety.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, the head of the Arapaima is very hard, right? And if you get whacked, it can severely bruise you.
It can knock you out.
It can knock you out. I mean, it can knock you flat down. So, again, like he said, let the guides get in and get the fish. Don't be a hero. Don't be cocky. Let them get it. They've handled hundreds of fish, thousands of fish. Let them get it. And then once they have it under control, they move towards the head and the tail. And that's when you come around and hold the fish in the middle, right? And one thing I'll say, it's if you want to take a picture by yourself, that's okay. However, if the fish is very, very large, I would encourage you just to take it with the guides because, it's getting to a point where it's so big that if you're holding it up by just its guts, I'm not sure that's entirely good on the fish, you know what I mean? So when you lift it out of the water, do so gently, and take a quick picture and then get it back down. Let them release it. They know the technique. You talked about that burp, right? You showed me how to do that the last time I was out there. And that's really important to wait for, right? And it's kind of a timing thing. I watch your guides. They're very careful. They hold the fish. They listen. And then as soon as it burps, boom, they let it go, right? And that's kind of a skill. And obviously, I would just encourage, if you guys want to be part of the release, that's fine. But be there with the guide and let the guide do it. I mean, it's more important the fish goes and lives than...
And Arapaima, he's so strong. When you hook one, you're going to see him jump in the water. Sometimes they jump so hard and shake the head so hard that they break their neck. So I'm saying that is because some people say, hey, I want to take a picture out of the water. First of all, the fish is so big. And when you hold and if he jumps, if you're in the water, that's okay. That's his place. He falls in the water, we bring him back.
Yeah.
Now, if you're out of the water, and I see that a lot, when the fish jump, you just go panic, and drop the fish.
That's why we just take pictures in the water now. Yeah, you have to do that. And one thing, you can kind of anticipate when the fish is going to jump when you're reeling them in, So if you see that fish and it looks like it's about to jump, one thing you could do is drop your rod and you put the pressure down, right? So as he goes to jump, you've got the pressure so he can't come up all out of the water, right? So he can maybe get out a little bit, but then he's coming back down. And that's... if they get way out of the water and shake your head, you can lose them a lot too. So it's in your best interest too to kind of, if you see him making a run towards the surface, get your rod down, keep that tension on, and try to minimize that, vertically.
80% of the time that you lose a fish is when he jumps. He shakes and you see you fly away.
Bye-bye. Yeah. Okay, that was good.
And break the line. Make sure, we try to get the drag right, and some people, I don't know why they want to go there and get their own way, and that's okay. But the first time when he takes off,
Yeah.
And you don't have much time to do anything.
I mean, look, honestly, it is hard to land a big Arapaima, right? I mean, it is difficult. It's not an easy thing to do. So if you land one, celebrate and take a picture.
Yeah.
But reality is you're going to lose some. I mean, that's Arapaima fishing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I had one last year and, snapped my hook. Not only the line, it broke the hook. It was a big, strong catfish hook, and that's just the way it is. So, okay. We talked about the catch and release stuff already, so I think we'll just go ahead and skip that. Pastor, let's talk about something else. So you have this great fishery, and you're not somebody who would toot your own horn, so I'm going to do it for you. Having gotten to know you, I know that you do a lot of great works. I know you do a lot of well digging projects. You were instrumental in kind of getting an orphanage going down in Sao Paulo that you still have some involvement with. And the Arapaima project definitely helps support a lot of these good deeds that you're doing. Why don't you tell us about some of the projects that you have going with your ministry here in Brazil, with the wells and the orphanage and that sort of thing?
The income that comes with the Arapaima fishery has been a tremendous blessing to a ministry, because we cannot help anybody if we can't help, and to be able to help, you have to have the resources to do, and this has really helped us. We have the orphanage in São Paulo, still gone. Now it's run by a boy that was one time a little boy that we pick him up in the street, and now he's a lawyer and he take care of there. Now here in Manaus, last year we did 8 wells for different communities that need clean water. Now we start a camp. It's been a little bit slow, but we already have 2 buildings under roof. And what we plan on doing is, first of all, is have a place to teach kids, and have a place that we can let public school, take the kids there to see the monkeys, to see Arapaima, and learn, the environment, and about the environment. And also, we help communities. We go to Mutirão, which is across the river, and we go there twice a week and take food. And then we go to an Indian tribe in Ubim every Saturday, and we take food and we teach them. And we do a lot of things. And if you want to be part of them, you can visit and you can help if you want. And you can even have tax-deductible donation if you want to.
Yeah, let's talk about that. I have a lot of anglers who come and visit, and they kind of learn about some of the things you're doing, the good deeds you're doing, and they want to support. You do have a tax-deductible nonprofit in the States if somebody wants to make an additional contribution,
right.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And you send your donation, and you can send to Acute Angling.
Yeah.
I think one time somebody met you in a fair and
Sean gave us some money.
And said, "Hey, can I give you the money to send to pastor?" And that's 100%. Zach don't take anything. The organization, they don't take 1 penny, and come straight to us, and you can come and see. And if you want to say, "Hey, I want to give this to a window," it's going for the window. I want to help food, that's going for the food. And I have people say, "Hey, I want to buy a well." Right now we have a community that have a old lady, she's a widow, and I'm looking forward to put a well for her. And you can be part of it if you want to.
Yeah, and I will brag for Pastor Odali a little bit in that I've spent some time with you and seen some of those projects, and I know you spend a lot of your life doing a lot of great things, so we're really appreciative of that. You definitely help those around you. You're a good example to all of us. So that wraps it up for this episode. I want to thank you, Pastor Odali, for spending time with us. If you're interested in the Arapaima day trip, please let us know. You can do this a day before or a day after your peacock bass trip or your multi-species trip. Really fun add-on, really cool thing to see, like I said, with the Rio Negro Bridge, and then spending time out at your place. And just overall, it's fun just hanging out with Pastor Odali for a day. He's a great guy. So I encourage you to, if you have interest, to give us a call, and we'll get you booked and get you set up. And we look forward to seeing you out on the water, and hopefully you can catch a big Arapaima. Thank you so much for your time today. Appreciate it. I'm looking forward to see you. And we have toucan that you can see. We have monks. And we have a lot of different things besides the Arapaima course. And we're looking forward to see you, to come pick you up here at the hotel and take you for a wonderful day. Okay? Perfect. Hey, thank you so much.
Thank you, buddy.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate your
Thank
help.
you. Take it easy.